Hello traders, hello everyone, my name is Gregor and welcome to our new episode of Surfing the Elliott Waves, where I will look at some of the most interesting developments for this week. This video has been brought to you by Orbex. I will look at gold, DAX, Aussie against the US dollar and Japanese yen, and then also we will look at New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar. Now firstly, as we said, gold. Now on gold, we are still tracking this ongoing correction, which is the best visible here on a higher degree time frame chart. As you can see, I'm observing incomplete bullish structure since 2015 lows. So this was wave 1, you had a wave 2, and looks like this was a very nice extended 5 subwaves for a wave 3. So now that was a pullback back to the starting point of wave 4 of one lesser degree and not to the ending point, which is normally the case when you have fifth wave extended or very strong, like in our case. So what is probably the most important right now is that this retracement was corrective, the first drop from the all-time highs. So if you look closely here, there's no chance that you would count this as an impulsive turn, like a 5 waves drop from the highs. So if you cannot count this as a bearish impulse, well, then it's probably correction or part of a correction. For now, I'm looking this to be part of a correction of a complex one here in a wave 4, which can either be a triangle if we just will keep consolidating here in this contracting range between this upper trend line and the lower 2019 trend line support. So as long as this strong trend line holds, I still think that there is a chance for this to unfold as a triangle. If this trend line would be broken from any reason, okay, and we see a dip towards 1700, then of course I would be looking for potential support even lower at 1600 before this market may stabilize. So in either case, I think that this is a pose on the way up, but for now, even if this 2019 trendline support will hold, correction is still ongoing and not completed. However, on the 4-hour time frame charts, we are seeing some nice reversal for the last few days. It looks like the market accomplished either a 5-wave drop for a wave C or maybe even a wave 3, but in either case we should see at least 3-wave recovery, because even if in the short-term charts market will make only corrective rise, well, it should be made by 3 waves. So this was wave A, and looks like that current consolidation is wave B on the way up. So I'm expecting third leg rise, and we could probably trade close towards 1840, maybe even 1860 level. Now if we would overlap this 1857, if we see 1860, then of course I would be even more confident that we are in a triangle, because we in such case we would be approaching the upper side of this range. Now let's take a look also on German DAX. Now German DAX here is very bullish since last year, and looks like that ongoing trend will stay in force here, because we cannot count 5 waves up when looking at the whole structure from March of last year. So I see prices now trying to break higher into wave 5 to complete higher degree wave 3, probably somewhere above 16,000. So for now this trend is still strong, and you should be aware of more upside, and maybe this should occur after a next pullback. Notice that market has recently slowed down here for a quite healthy correction, which was in play for almost 1 month after we have spotted this ending diagonal here back in May. So I think that this consolidation is a wave 4, maybe already finished, because you will notice 5 subwaves from that latest swing low. So just be aware that there can be some pullback coming, but then ideally we will either find a support around 15,700 or maybe even 100 points lower. So that's your next potential support for a new turn to the upside. So for now, I think that DAX on the intraday charts is trading at some extremes. So just be aware of that retracement, but generally speaking, it will be just a part within uptrend. Now let's take a look also on Aussie dollar. Now recently we spotted a very nice reversals to the upside on copper. Even Hang Seng index is trying to stabilize. So it looks like that commodities are again waking up, and stocks after all are still in uptrend. So we should be aware that maybe commodity currencies are also trying to build a base. Now looking firstly at a monthly chart here, this is like our guide for a longer picture, since market made 3 waves recovery from this 2000 recession lows, then 2007 2008 recession lows, again provided a very nice bounce with a 3 wave structure. So maybe 2020 crisis, the COVID crisis, is again trying to cause another 3 wave recovery. So this is somehow my map when I'm looking longer into the future. So for now I should stay bullish here, and if we look daily chart, we can see a very nice 3 wave setback. And always when the market makes a 3 wave setback against the previous very strong recovery, which, as you know, is in force since March of last year, we should be aware of potential new resumption higher. So I'm looking for a wave C that came very nice and close to this previous swing highs. You have also wave C that equals to wave A down there, and you also have the 23.6% fib retracement right at this lower trend line of this corrective channel. So overall it looks like a potential very strong support here, so I would not be surprised if we see a rally. However, there is still no decisive break higher yet, but let's keep an eye on this trend line resistance of this channel. So if this trend line can be broken this week, then I think that more upside here could be in the cards. But besides Aussie dollar, I think that Aussie yen is maybe even better. Why? Because dollar yen has turned to the upside at the same time when other yen crosses turned higher. So it means that yen is the weakest between all of the currencies. So that's why I somehow like the Aussie yen. In fact, we can see that Aussie yen is making quite nice reversal here, now trying to again stabilize around 38.2%. In fact, a drop from the highs is clearly overlapping. So ideally that's a correction, maybe a very big bullish flag here that will take us much higher in the next few weeks, maybe even months. So we will see how this will unfold, but I think that we really should respect these lows that was recently reached, because market made 5 waves up away from that area. And always when you see a 5 waves up from the lows or from a new high, well, you should be aware that market is maybe trying to reverse. Even if this would be only another corrective recovery, again, I think it should be made by 3 waves. Okay, so my assumption, I think that ASEAN is looking quite good here, and the first support that we should pay attention on is definitely here around 82. It also comes in away from that previous swing lows. Okay, and what I really love about this reversal is actually that we have seen a strong breakdown, okay, a drop below to a new low, but then those bears were not been able to handle those this weakness. Okay, so market actually recovered back well above the previous lows, and that's normally indication of a failure breakdown. So in my opinion, this could lead to more strength, especially if we consider the all intermarket analysis as well. And now finally, let's take a look on New Zealand dollar. Now in less than 24 hours, I believe, we have a new rate decision from bank in New Zealand, and there are speculations that there can be hawkish. In fact, their COVID situation overall is looking quite good, so we definitely should look into this direction, and which is quite interesting if we consider that again New Zealand dollar made a quite nice pullback. So with macro and fundamental views, especially when looking into the future, well, that's quite interesting currency when looking also at the structure, because we have seen a very nice pullback, quite a healthy one, maybe still headed for another push to the downside to reach this equality level of wave C compared to wave A. That would be a textbook example, but markets are not always textbook. So we just have to be aware that maybe sooner or later this pair will turn to the upside. We'll see what will happen next, but so far it's a little bit too soon to say that market is bottoming here, but the picture would totally change if we can see a 5-wave recovery back to this wave 4 level. Okay, traders, thank you very much for your attention. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and again, talk to you next time. Bye.